What is up, guys? My name is Ashes the Gamer, and yeah, it's been a hot minute since I last uploaded a full video. But don't worry, I'm back on the YouTube grind. Now, I know a lot of you guys know that Batman Arkham Shadow just turned a month and 17 days old, and in that time span, we even got our first update for the game. Now, speaking of updates, in today's video, I'm going to be discussing the upcoming updates that are soon to be in the game. Now, before getting into this video, make sure to like and subscribe and comment down below what other Arkham content I should make. But without further ado, let's get right into the video. Now, the first thing that we're going to be talking about is the character viewer. Now, this feature was first introduced into Batman Arkham Asylum, and then it went on to being in Arkham Origins, Arkham City, Arkham VR, then finally Arkham Knight. Now, this was a really cool thing that they added in the game. Like, the overall details and the textures on the models in the other Arkham games just make this feature better. But being able to look at your characters in VR is just going to make this experience better. Like, to be able to look at your favorite heroes and enemies after beating the game was just an awesome encounter. And I just can't wait to see this feature in Arkham Shadow. Now that we talked about the character viewer, let's move on to the next feature. Challenge maps. Yes, one of the most iconic things in an Arkham game. Like, you can't just make an Arkham game without them. Now, for starters, there's only been 3 challenge maps since the release of Batman Arkham Shadow, and on the update list, they said that they were going to be adding additional challenge maps to the game. Now, this is just my opinion, but I think some of the challenge maps could either be the outside of Monarch Theater, just because it kind of has a large environment for the player to fight in, and it's just a cool fighting section. Crime Alley. Okay, hear me out. I could see this being a challenge map, but the amount of limited space the player gets to fight and leap to enemy would just not be enough. And also, since it is a small area, I don't know how they would fit that much enemies in a tiny play space. But hey, they could do something like after beating up all the thugs, instead of just staying in the same area and fighting more thugs, they could make it so you would have to progress through the challenge map to fight more enemies. Kind of like what they did in Arkham City with the train challenge map, the boat predator section that you do at the end of the game. Now, that has a very high chance of being a challenge map. Like, first of all, it has a huge play area for a challenge map. Second of all, since this isn't a small space, you have to be more careful with what moves you do, so this gives it kind of a challenge to the player. And third of all, it's just a really fun predator section to play. And maybe, just maybe, another Blackgate challenge map. So these are just my predictions, but I would love to hear yours down in the comments. But whatever they added to the game, I think it will be good, either way. And another thing that will be added most likely will be endless challenge maps. Like, that is something I'm most excited for. Like, Arkham Knight's endless challenge map was just so much fun. Like, spending hours and hours just trying to get a good score was just unforgettable. But I'm pretty sure that's it for challenge maps. But I would love to hear what you guys have to say down in the comments. Now, while making this video, I didn't notice that the challenges that were going to be introduced in January were just Predator, and not a mix of both Predator and Combat. So that probably means that the challenges that I just went over will probably be only Combat, so my bad for not noticing. But anyways, back to the video. The next thing that we're going to be talking about is New Game Plus. One of the things I still don't know how it's going to work, but one of the things I'm really excited about. Now, New Game Plus was always around when the Arkham games first came out. I mean, Asylum kind of had New Game Plus with it not having counters and it being pretty hard. But I'm not going to count it as being a game with New Game Plus. But New Game Plus was a big thing for the game and its community. I mean, it's always been a really popular thing in the Arkham games. I mean, another reason why this feature is really good is the difficulty. Like, the different waves of enemies and attack patterns just made this mode spot on. Now, some of the things I want to talk about is how this is all going to work in VR. Like, usually in New Game Plus, there are some restrictions, like it not having counter icons or enemies' attacks being faster and stronger, but the main thing I'm most curious about is how the player is going to counter with there not being counter icons. Like, they obviously can't remove it because it would just make the game mode a little more easy, and that's always been a restriction in the Arkham games. Now, since this is in VR, I won't be too hard on them. Like, maybe they could increase the speed of the enemies punching like really high, or maybe try to figure out the whole no counter situation. Now, stealth. I don't think that will be much of a problem for them. Like, all they would really have to do is just make the enemies do more damage and maybe be more alert, and probably just a few more adjustments. But I think New Game Plus will turn out really good in VR.
MR Enhanced Content. Yes, guys, this obviously stands for Mixed Reality Enhanced Content. So we're going to be getting a mixed reality update for Arkham Shadow. And you wanna know something else? I'm obviously joking. There's no way on God's green earth is this happening. Like, I don't even know how this will work. It's probably not even possible.
Okay guys, I'm obviously joking. I don't even know how that would even work. What MR Enhanced Content actually stands for is, well, I have no idea. So I decided to look it up and see what it means. But all that came up was an MRI scan, which had nothing to do with what I just searched. So I went to the one AI which always answers my questions and stays on the topic, ChatGPT. And you won't believe what came up. Alright, there ain't no way that I joked about this whole mixed reality thing for over 29 seconds only to find out that I was wrong and this thing's actually coming. Okay guys, I'm obviously joking. I'm not going to take anything serious coming from ChatGPT because you can never know if it's wrong or not. So guys, if you know what this means, please tell me down in the comments. And finally, the last thing that we're going to be talking about is the new lore expanding in the post-credit scenes. Now, this could likely be a continuation of the Dick Grayson dialogue that we got at the end of the game.
Well, Bruce, the check cleared. Very generous and very necessary. We'll build back one youth center at a time. Found that wayward rat you were asking about. Former rat. It wasn't hard to find. He comes to see me for counseling from time to time.
Or it could be when he starts to turn into Robin. Now, guys, I don't really have a lot of ideas on what the new post-credit scene lore could be, just because we only got a tiny bit of dialogue. But if you guys have any ideas on what it could be, I would love to hear them down in the comments. But that's going to be it for today's video. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. Make sure to like and subscribe, and comment down below what other content I should make. But until next time, peace!